Welcome to Aunty K's, your favorite radical queer indigenous auntie, bringing you tarot every day. Hello everyone and welcome to Aunty K's Tarot. So I received a review deck haul. So these are 3 decks I received to review for indie deck review. So they were all gifted to me. I was not paid for these reviews, and doing these videos are extra. All right, so let's get into it and start with one we all know about. This is the 5th Spirit Tarot, the mass market edition, and it was hard to get the box apart, so I just have it turned over right now. With the mass market edition, we have a really lovely guidebook. There was a full-size guidebook that some folks had with the indie. I do not. And I hadn't really read the guidebook, although there is a copy of it with my Landmates collection. But I did take the time to read it for the purpose of review, and I was really happy with the guidebook and the outlook it took, the awareness that Charlie Claire Burgess put in to not just these cards, but the guidebook is really beautiful and fantastic and adds to, you know, these really wonderful cards. So this deck got picked up by Hay House, and I have cards set aside for taking pictures for the review. So I'm going to try and not mess that up. So the backs have changed. They are delicate, gorgeous, intricate. They have, you know, the cup and the lighter and the coin and the jackknife from the deck in there in a really beautiful reversible design. These are the cards I picked out that I'll be showing on Indie Deck Review. And, you know, it's just a really beautiful deck. What I really like and appreciate about the mass market version is the colors are more intense. They seem to fill the card in more firmly. I like that we're in the same color scheme with the backs and the cards as before, although it's a bit lighter. There are small changes in this deck, notably in the Queen of Wands and the King of Cups. And I watched the interview that Jules from Tarot Adventures with Jules did with Charlie Claire Burgess. And so this had to do with, you know, copyright issues in the mass market of real people. But I really appreciate the change in the Queen of Wands to a drag queen. It makes so much sense. And I like that I still get a Mr. Rogers feel in the King of Cups, because that was something I really loved about this deck originally. And I'm glad that where changes had to be made, satisfaction was still brought forward, and it's just gorgeous. I really do like the enhancement of colors in this version of the deck a lot. You know, Hay House isn't always the easiest to shuffle with, but I did test this out. I was able to shuffle. I don't want to shuffle in the cards I picked out. So this is a cheat because it's not the full deck here. But if you compare this to, like, you know, a year and a half ago for Hay House. This shuffles better. It's still a mass market matte feeling, but it does shuffle more than Hay House's past card stocks. There's a better bend to it. And so I appreciate that. And since I have the indie version and I love linen cardstock, I will be keeping the indie version, and I'll be gifting this version because it's such an amazing deck. I just think it should be shared as much as possible. So I will be gifting it. And the next deck we're going to look at is the Song of Gaia Oracle. It's the color palette that brought me in. It's soft, it's pastel, it's a pink, it's a pastel rainbow, there's animals. I thought I was going to love this. And the guidebook is, that's the inside of the box. The guidebook is a mess. It's pretty typical. It's Oracle deck size. It feels like a rose petal finish. It's a pretty typical stiffness. You know, I was like, oh, she addresses pronouns. I've chosen to use they, them pronouns when I talk about something that could be either feminine or masculine in nature. And then she talks about how she also still uses he and she pronouns because, you know, polarity doctrine. And then, you know, she's like, everything's not universal, blah, blah, blah. There are probably many opinions around this, and it's not my wish to offend anyone with my choice of words. I was taken aback that she was worried about offending people for using they. That's what it sounded like to me, that, you know, she's stepping outside the polarity doctrine boundaries a little bit, including they pronouns. And hopes that doesn't offend anybody. And that was like, why are you worried about offending the people who would be offended by using they? Well, she realizes some topics are more sensitive. To use your discernment. Oh, here we go. Came right before the privileged part. Lastly, I do acknowledge that I'm a privileged person. And, you know, that is a great thing for a white cis person to do, to recognize you're a privileged person. But let's finish it. Lastly, I acknowledge that I'm a privileged person and that this Oracle deck is an offering for equally privileged people. So apparently this deck wasn't meant for me because I'm totally not equally privileged. We'll look at the deck. And one thing is, like, it is hard to read the writing on some of these cards where it's lighter than, like, that one because it's all white lettering. It's pretty. There's diversity in the backgrounds of the people, the ethnic backgrounds of the people. But this deck is heavily based in the ideas of polarity and prosperity doctrine and starseeds. There are cards that speak to all of those different things on more than one card. It is throughout the guidebook. And for those who don't know, those ideas come to us nowadays from a 1880s, late 1800s anyway, spiritual movement called Theosophy, which combined spirituality with what they thought was science, but was pseudoscience, and specifically eugenics. And that starseed idea is based entirely on eugenics. Lesser alien races and greater alien races, and that impacting who we are when we choose to come to Earth, that we choose our struggles in our lives. We choose everything from racism to, you know, your ancestors, what they chose, genocide, slavery, their choice. Their choice. Blaming anybody else, even when things are hard, is, you know, your problem under this. Anger has its place, but don't direct it at others, because that would be wrong. You chose this. So this is really toxic white supremacy beliefs. I don't know if Santa knows. Santa is the creator from Spirit Bird Creative Studios. I don't know if she knows those are the roots of those beliefs, but like, it's not hard to research. It's not. You can also all go watch you can also all go read a article called Starseed, Nazis in Space, to get a brief overview. But yeah, that's this deck. And consequently, being that it was designed for people who match Sana's privileged background, it clearly wasn't meant for me. I clearly feel that this racist piece of shit deck wasn't for me too. And I won't be keeping it, and I won't be gifting it. Like, these are the decks that go in the garbage because nobody else needs that bullshit. Clarity Tarot. All right, it's on my workspace, but I'll show you the box. It opens like this. This was the only box of the three that was easy to open. The Hay House box was so tight, as was the Song of Gaia box. Okay, this deck comes with a chunker of a guidebook. Like, it's a chunker of a guidebook. And like this, okay, so the art on this deck is by Indigenous artist Kait. The guidebook is by tarot teacher and hotline reader Debra Zachau. And it's fabulous. So your cards all have a yes or no in the corner. It's unobtrusive. You can easily ignore it. They also all have this interesting bottom border design, which gives us a love and money reading for each card. When you read this deck, you understand completely that Debra Zachau teaches tarot. And like, guidebooks, in my opinion, like, they'll teach you about your deck. They'll give you a little bit to help you through it. They aren't going to teach you tarot. Well, wrong. This one's going to teach you tarot. Introduction, right? Keywords. Yes, no answers. Timing is everything. Okay. The one thing I'm going to say is it says that all the majors have a Roman and modern, which would be Arabic numeral on them, and that you can use it for timing, but I didn't find these numbers. I know the numbers of the majors, but I did not find them anywhere on the deck. Rich cultural images. Correct. It's about 40%. The various BIPOC folks of the world, 40% white and 10% ambiguous. It's about 50-50. That's not how the world looks, but it's a lot better than majority of decks. How to use this deck. Like, we're not talking the foo-foo, smudge your deck, put it in silk, spin around 3 times and throw salt over your shoulder. Like, how to use it for reading for yourself and clients. This is how this is addressed. What's in a number? I enjoy working with the numbers in tarot, and Debra goes through all the numbers in 1 to 10. Then we have discussion on the suits and their elements and superpowers. And, you know, there's a discussion on the suits. And then this is where we're finally into it. Keywords are written into this, like the keywords that's on. It's got keywords are highlighted in this to make it that much easier to go to in the guidebook. We also have yes and no. Their yes and no answers assigned up here. Getting to know the family's personality, traits of each suit. And so this is talking about your court cards as members of the family and how to get to know them. House number 3, the Cup family. And then the major arcana. And we go through the major arcana. Keywords are highlighted for love and money again. And then how to give an awesome reading. Like, and a cheat sheet. Spreads are in here. Following your intuition. Then we got spreads and throws. 5-card yes, no. Which talks about how to use that. Like, and then your cheat sheet. And you have a bit about Kait at the back. And a bit about Debra, Zachau at the front. And I didn't know a book of this size could be a complete how to read tarot book. But damn it. It is. That just required all of that. It was just fair to give all the information. So these are the cards in the deck. One of my complaints, and I don't have many, is all the pages are white. The people are pretty shiny. There is a perfection quality to the people in this deck, but their emotions still come through in their body language and in their faces, even though there's this general shiny quality. I think this is the only deck showing, or the only card showing a obvious disability. I don't think there's glasses or anything else. I think that's the only one that suggests that is that one card that I noticed. Having a deck that comes out to about 50% diverse does make for a better reading, in my opinion, because I know, Kitty, but you're in my way. Also, I love the swords. I love the swords in this deck. See, like, she's gray-haired, but she looks quite young. I like it. I have used this already in reading. I use the yes-nos. The majors are all yeses, which I find difficult. So I've counted them not in with my yes-nos, but as like, hey, this is something you have to do to improve the situation. Maybe change it, maybe just improve it, depending on what's going on. And I do like these. The money ones I found exceptionally useful. It was useful. It was helpful. And they were non-intrusive. Like, they kind of come into this unusual border, right? Like, your eyes are still focused up in the main aspect of the cards. This is the one card that seems weird because, like, I can see the collage line on it. But, I mean, maybe it's a glow or something else, and it reads wrong for me. I don't know. I like the wands for their glow quality a lot. This is a deck that I find visually really adorable. So this child and one child in the Six of Cups would be the children of color in the deck. So this is a deck I genuinely really like. I'm an Indigenous person who doesn't always like seeing us represented in the past. Kait Matthews is apparently an Indigenous person who enjoys these representations. I like to see us in the present because we're often erased from it. But that is a deck, and overall I really like it, and it is really useful in a reading. The card size is a little bigger than a typical tarot card. The card size is this wee bit bigger than a typical tarot card. I kind of wish it wasn't, but it's not so much bigger that it has any huge impact on my reading it. I don't know that I can fit 25 of these cards on my table for my 25 card spread, but I can certainly put like a line of them in my yes no line, like my answer line. And when I do that, see, we'll put it in camera here. So I can put a line of them for my yes no line. And when I do that, I get yes, or I wouldn't count that. I got a no, a no. I got 2 no's. I got 3 majors. I would say it's no, but there's like options for an improved outcome, which honestly, based on this, that's why it's a no. To improve your outcome, you need to move on. And find love for yourself. So that is the Clarity Tarot. These are the decks that I got in for my latest review.